All right, there you have it, and we wait for some of the details to be filled out, particularly regarding the Russian sanctions. President Trump is meeting with the head of NATO right now, so we'll be on guard for any announcements. Joining me now on set, great pleasure, Ari Fleischer, former White House press secretary and Fox News contributor. Welcome, Ari. So, hardened veteran, what'd you hear? What'd you hear from him?
Well, I heard one, Vladimir Putin is not being honest or transparent. You don't really hear that kind of blunt talk from this administration. Two, let's hear the details now on the sanctions. He made news. He said to you, you made news, that he's going to be announcing, the administration will, tonight or tomorrow before markets open. So here's the question. What exactly are they? Because there's a weakness in sanctions, and he got to it there. He said Europe is on its 19th sanctions package against Russia. What good have the previous 18 done? They were too little, too weak. So what is Donald Trump going to do? Will the president come in with big, powerful, strong sanctions? Or is this going to be small package one, followed by small package two, that doesn't get the job done? I hope it's big, because Russia needs it.
You know, he set the expectations bar pretty high rhetorically, but when I asked him about secondary sanctions, which means anybody that does business with Russia cannot do business with the United States. You're off the SWIFT payment system, you're off the New York Fed transaction wire. He said no, he denied that. So I just wondered, he did set the bar very high. But Trump is very cross with Putin. I think, isn't that implicit in this?
He often increasingly is. He's been disappointed since Alaska, and he has said Vladimir Putin has said things and he hasn't backed them up. And I do have to say, I wish President Trump was faster to make that realization. Many of us who had worked with President Putin previously, and remember, he was president of Russia when I was at the White House. This is a long-standing pattern with Vladimir Putin. He will play you and string you out as long as he can. President Trump is one tough guy, so it's hard to string him out. So I hope President Trump is going to really toughen up against Russia with these sanctions now. It's the only language Vladimir Putin speaks. Yeah,
and I think the price of oil coming down for a variety of reasons is very good. That hurts Russia. That's their only cash crop. So switching gears, I didn't get into it with the secretary, but the shutdown continues endlessly. Shutdown politics everywhere. You've been around all this stuff. What do you make of it right now?
I see nothing that brings the parties together to get this solved, and so the shutdown just continues, which is just not good. It is no way to run a government. I don't care what your ideology is. Look, I'm at the point now where we already know there is no filibuster when it comes to what they call reconciliation, bills that increase or decrease the size of the deficit. So you can pass those with 50 votes. What's wrong with extending that same principle now and saying there should be no filibuster, which is why the Democrats are shutting down the government, when it comes to keeping the government open or closed? You can't filibuster something fundamental like that. If I'm John Thune, if I'm the Republicans, I say no more filibuster, overrule the rule of the parliamentarian, and then the government goes open, because Republicans have the votes to keep it open. They need 60 votes, which is what's empowered the minority Democrats to demand new spending in exchange for opening the government.
I kind of like it that Trump is saying to Schumer, for example. Schumer and Jeffries want to meet with him, but Trump says, no, first open the government and then I'll meet. I kind of like that point. But here's what I wanted your thinking. Should the Trump administration really pull the trigger? Non-essential workers are going to be non-essential workers forever. They have an opportunity here to let them go, essentially to fire them, and a lot of programs that the Bidens put in, a lot of re-election spending that the Biden could be taken back, literally impounded. There's a lower court in the way, but that will probably pass. Do you think they should pull those triggers?
Well, you really have to wonder, if you're not essential, why are you there?
Yeah, I've been asking this question for weeks. You're the first guy to understand it.
It's our tax money. We should only give our tax money to the government so the government does the things that are essential that we cannot do on our own as individuals. That's national defense. That's some crime. That's Department of Justice. But you have a ton of bureaucrats who just do studies. They do this study and that study, often congressionally mandated, that just sits on a shelf that nobody reads. There still is so much waste to be done in there. So the longer this goes on, the more I'm open to ideas like that.
Russ Vought is just ready to go. He's just ready to go. Yeah. You know, in your seat, Senator John Kennedy was in your seat. We were talking about a book. But I asked him about this question. He said, Russ has been working on this since puberty. But he's ready. He's got everything lined up. He's just waiting for the boss to say, go ahead, pull the trigger. Yeah. And I think you're right. The longer it waits, the better chance they have.
And shutdowns are just wrong. I lived through so many of them when I was on the Hill. But the fundamental thing you can't accept is to allow a minority party that doesn't control the House, the Senate, or the White House to attach new measures, new spending, in order to open the White House. The status quo should prevail when you have a stalemate. The government was open, it should stay open. This is just dumb. It is no way for a country that like ours to run its business.
Last one, in politics, how much trouble do you think the Democrats are? New York City is a special case. The Republicans aren't going to win New York City, even though I do like Curtis Legal. But the fact is, Mondami, poster boy for socialism with AOC and Bernie Sanders and others. New Jersey and Virginia may be up for grabs in the state house races. Trump voters may be coming out. The MAGA thing is very strong. How do you see this political on these elections?
President Trump is in a far stronger position than he was at the equivalent in his first term. His job approval rating right now is -6. He's upside down by a little bit, -6. Flip back 8 years after his first year in office, he was down 12. Wow. In the midterm elections, he was down 14. The energy against Donald Trump, which is what drives Democrats to show up, is really diminished. And the Democrats aren't showing up for Democrats. There is no love of the Democratic Party. This is where they're in big trouble. They show up to get rid of Donald Trump. That ability to show up has shrunk because President Trump is doing a better and better job, and the American people see it.
If Scott Bessent's right, and I suspect he is, look, you got your tax cuts, you got your deregulation, you got your lower energy prices and so forth. If the economy is good next year, it could, the tradition is the party out of the White House wins. I don't know. I think they could increase their margins, the GOP. I mean, a Trumpian economy, they could increase their margins. We haven't seen much. It's possible.
Well, the economy is the heart of it all, Larry. It always has been. If the economy is roaring, if things are going well, it's going to benefit the Republicans. If things turn south, if things are bad, it's going to hurt Republicans.
All right. Ari Fleischer, the best of the best. Thank you for coming on. Love seeing you.
Thank you, Larry.
I've known you forever.
Forever.
Terrific stuff. Great
Since
stuff.
Reagan.
Great service, too.